Who doesn't read all the text becomes false teachers. All right. There are verses in the Bible that tell you why the shroud is wrong. It's completely false. First verse I'm going to talk about here is about Lazarus. And what Lazarus in John 11:17. So when Jesus came, he found that he had already been in the tomb 4 days. 4 individual days. Now, do you know what a tomb is? Because a lot of people don't. A tomb is the rock that they've hewed out to make a bed to lay the dead body on. It would be tombs would be in there, okay? So he would be in the tombs for 4 days. But the word 4 can't be right. In the proof here we have, it should be 3 days, is because what happened in the Black Plague days of Europe, they had found that they were burying a lot of people and thinking they were dead, but the grave robbers came along and dug up the bodies to strip off whatever they could sell and have use for money. And what they found when they were going to put these bodies back in the grave and cover them back up, the lid had claw marks from the people being alive, being buried alive. That's why today we have a 3 days for the body to be dead, to be completely dead. So 4 days isn't the right understanding. But that means the Hebrew people at that time did know that answer. And that's why they put them in and laid them on a tomb for 3 days and then buried them in a grave. So now you know that this is wrong, and the word tomb should be tombs, and this should be 3 days. But he can't be in there for 3 days, so let's do 2 days. Now I've corrected that text. I've really corrected it here when I understand the full story from reading all the other verses in the Bible. So this is what my Bible looks like on my computer. If you want to follow along with me, you got to get the New American Standard 1977 text, and then you can follow along with me. I have an actual concordance program that actually shows this type of thing, that when I click on a Hebrew or English word here, it shows me in Hebrew. Then down here in the paragraphs, they tell me how many times that word was used. But the dirty lie is that the word so is already in a Hebrew word, yet they use the word so 7 times. That's why they don't allow this on the internet anymore that I know of. But if you dig it up, let me know in the comment section. Now, John 11, where is it centered? John 11:44. Lazarus had died, who had died, came forth, bound hand and foot with wrappings, and his face was wrapped. That doesn't mean some cloth was laid from head to toe, okay? Why did they do that? That's a good question, because I'm going to give you that answer later. But here, when we look at it, how can they just bind his hand and his foot with wrappings and his face was wrapped? Okay? But Jesus said, unbind him, means to take your time to take this stuff off him. So what you have here is his hands, I've made arms, and his foot, I made legs, and his face, I made his head and body, all around with cloths, okay? So that's how you should have read this verse, or studied into the text and would have read that. Now we come to Jesus's body, what it tells about it. In John 19:40, they took the body of Jesus and bound it in linen wrappings with spices. Well, they didn't put the spices in. Now, you know the story of Lazarus, how they had to roll the stone out of the way. Well, it's not a stone wheel, it's a wooden wheel, because people were coming in and back all the time, so it had to be easy enough to move. So the only thing is when it says stone, roll the stone out of the way, they're just lying to you. So here you have to understand that what the spices are for. They would put spices so the animals and bugs would not get into the wrapping to get to the body. In case that person wakes up, then they could wake up, unwrap themselves, roll the opening up, roll the wheel back, and be free. But the spices are a very big clue for the simple fact that when Mary goes with these spices to Jesus's place where they put him in the tombs, that was the day after he had died on the cross, or his body died on the cross. So when you hear Jesus was buried for 3 days and 3 nights, that's completely wrong. In fact, that 3 days and 3 nights isn't written by Hebrew people. Our Creator defined a day as night and daylight. That is a day. So it should have been written 3 days. But there are 2 stories, and that one is false. This one is true, because I'm telling you it's true that he rose, or he was out of the tomb the next day, his body was out. So, but that's what the spices are for. But they bound him with linen wrappings again. Okay, they took it down, meaning they took his body down and wrapped it in linen cloth. Okay, and then down here in Mark 15:48, again, they took him down and wrapped him in linen cloth. How you doing? I'm glad you stopped by. I gotta make that text bigger. I can't see your name, but I appreciate you stopping by and chatting. Now this here, verse here, I got a highlight here. Joseph, this guy that was supposed to be some character other than his father, took the body and wrapped it in clean cloth, linen cloth. Therefore, the Shroud of Turin is completely wrong. But now you know what a tomb is. You now know what why they brought spices, and that's the truth. And I'm getting sick and tired of people out there teaching false teachings by getting excited and following some secular path, and yet the text is there to read and see. So that's my opinion of why these verses make the Shroud of Turin completely false. Just another made-up story from pagans. Yes, I said it. I don't believe the Catholic Church is very truthful. But I'm going to close this down because I only just wanted to get out here and make a quick video. But if you wanted to stop by when I'm actually streaming for hours, stop by and I'll talk to you, because I've done things like this where I went through the text and I counted all the boards for the tent, and I found that if you change this word in 26, there's arches, and these boards make up the roof for the tent for his meeting, which means this is the first time you're probably seeing this as well, as long as the 12 commandments above me. You have been following people that don't study the text. Me, I've studied it for 30 years. Follow me, subscribe, like the video so others can see this video, and you all have a good day. Thank you.